Good evening. I'm Enarida Lord and welcome to Churikua.
So many sleepless nights, so many nightmares that come to my mind every night, ever since that day, driven by the desire to work on something that would excite every woman, something related to the best day of our lives after the birth of our children, our wedding day. It's worth nothing than back then. Our priorities were family and children, and most of us didn't have dreams as big as we do today. In my case, I loved watching women try on wedding dresses, seeing the look of happiness on their faces, or helping them to find the perfect one. Here, in Chihuahua, there was a wedding dress shop that we would call a boutique nowadays that started as a modest store and gradually gained prestige. Doña Pascuala, the owner, was the one who started it, and it was so successful, reaching a point where there were dresses for every taste and every, or almost every, budget, living up to its name, La Popular. Unfortunately, just the year before I arrived at the store, that tragedy happened. One that left its mark not only on the store's history but also on that of the entire city. Doña Pascuala's daughter was about to get married, but just before the wedding, she was stung by a poisonous scorpion, causing her to die and preventing her from reaching the altar. She was buried in her wedding dress by mutual agreement between Doña Pascuala and the man who would have been her husband. Shortly after her death, a beautiful mannequin arrived at the store from France. As I heard from someone in Doña Pascuala's family, it was sent by a bride who had been so enchanted by her wedding dress that, after entering the business herself, she had the mannequin made in her daughter's likeness. A daughter who had made the young French woman stay so pleasant back when she was of marriageable age. Rumors spread quickly as seeing her in the widowed. Rumors spread quickly as seeing her in the display, beautiful, and the spitting image of her was something few could resist. To be honest, that's what I came to believe when I saw her too. It was said that Doña Pascualas hadn't buried her daughter, but had embalmed her, and there she was, wearing beautiful wedding dresses that did nothing but highlight her beauty in a lifeless way. Little by little, I got used to it and began to enjoy my job until one day everything changed. I had switched afternoon shift, so it was my turn to close up. That was a really tough day. I had to help a bride who took a long time to decide on a dress. After trying on more than 10, she finally chose one and was very happy. But the store had to close right then. As soon as she left, I started to close up the shop, and I couldn't help but glance at the mannequin to make sure everything was in order. But to my surprise, I saw it blink and then smile. I couldn't believe my eyes. I wanted to assume it was just the exhaustion from what had been a very hectic day. I didn't think much of it until the next day, a quieter day, when something similar happened. I closed up, and as I stepped out onto the street, I saw her turn her face slightly toward me and make a gesture with her hands. It was if, with the stiffness in her hands, she was doing everything she could to say, goodbye to me, but I couldn't bear it. The next morning, I did everything I could to convince Doña Pascuala to switch my shift again. And when I described what had happened, she agreed. Unfortunately, my stay there wasn't very long. I lasted only a few more months until I managed to find another job at a clothing store. Not as emotional, but similar in some ways. The last thing I remember after my final day, there was walking out, and as I gave thanks for such a wonderful experience, I saw Pascualita for the last time. This time with an expression or perhaps an attempt at unease, as if she felt guilty that I had left. But that was the last time I went there. Until recently, when I passed by it again, since years without it. And I'm proud to know that it's still in business. Thought this time without Pascualita welcoming guest from the display.